The silent trap of approval. Why chasing validation will never make you whole. Let me take you into a story, not just of one man, but of something many of us go through silently, even unknowingly. It's about ambition, success, and the deep hunger for something we rarely talk about openly: approval. There was once a man named Ethan Wells. To the world, he was a rising star, an executive in a fast-paced media company, known for his confidence, precision, and ability to close high-stakes deals. He had all the usual signals of success: a sleek corner office, a luxury car, and a wardrobe tailored to perfection. His colleagues admired him, his juniors envied him, and his social media pages sparkled with professional praise. But late at night, when the noise had died down and the screens were off, Ethan often found himself staring at the ceiling, gripped by a feeling he couldn't quite name. A kind of emptiness that no praise seemed to fill. A quiet question haunted him: why does it still not feel like enough? He wasn't unhappy in the way that's easy to explain. His life wasn't falling apart. But there was a quiet ache, like the foundation of his identity was built on sand. It was subtle but constant. One evening, after another draining week of pleasing clients and trying to outperform himself yet again, Ethan met Mara. She wasn't a colleague or a coach or someone trying to sell a system. She was just present. An older woman, calm and kind, who listened more than she spoke. She had spent her life helping people at the highest levels of success understand the very thing Ethan was now questioning. They met at a small retreat. Nothing grand, just a weekend for executives seeking balance, although most of the attendees came just to network. Ethan, for reasons he couldn't quite explain, came because he felt like something inside him was slipping through his fingers. Over tea one morning, Ethan shared what he'd never told anyone. "I think I've built my entire life around needing people to think I'm impressive. I chase titles, accolades, likes. But when they fade, and they always do, I feel like I disappear with them." Mara looked at him gently and said, "That's because you've outsourced your self-worth. You're letting the world decide how valuable you are. But the world has a very short memory." She went on, "You see, most people confuse being seen with being whole. We chase visibility because it feels like a substitute for validation. But it never lasts. The attention you fight so hard to win is rarely sustained. People are busy. They move on. And then you're left needing another fix. It's not success you're addicted to, it's approval." That conversation shattered something in Ethan, but it also started to rebuild something new. He asked, "But isn't it selfish to care more about what I want, what makes me feel good, than what others expect of me?" Mara smiled. "That's what we've been conditioned to believe, that prioritizing your own alignment is somehow neglecting others. But here's the paradox. When you neglect your own well-being, you become less useful to everyone around you. You become reactive, burned out, drained. You can't give love, guidance, or leadership from an empty place. But when you care deeply about your own inner clarity, your joy, your values, your peace, you radiate something others can feel. Something that actually helps them." She paused, then added something that struck Ethan to the core. "You cannot uplift another unless you are aligned yourself. The energy has to flow through you before it can flow out of you." Ethan spent the rest of that weekend in quiet thought. He began to see how deeply approval had rooted itself into his life. The way he dressed, always to impress. The way he spoke, rehearsed and perfect. Even the way he rested, only when he'd earned it. It was all a performance. Subtle, socially acceptable, but ultimately exhausting. And here's the heartbreaking truth. He didn't even know what he wanted anymore. He only knew what looked good to others. He had traded authenticity for applause, and now he was paying the price. After the retreat, Ethan didn't quit his job or move to the mountains. That's the mistake people often make when they realize they're off course. They think the only way to find peace is to abandon everything. But Ethan did something far more powerful. He started living from the inside out. He began checking in with himself. Does this feel aligned? Before saying yes to a project, agreeing to a meeting, or posting online. He stopped trying to be everyone's favorite. He learned to say no with grace. He allowed silence in conversations rather than filling them with polished perfection. He even began to dress more simply, not to downgrade, but because he no longer needed the costume of credibility. And a funny thing happened. As he stopped trying to be impressive, he became more impactful. As he stopped chasing attention, he started attracting respect. Not because he was striving, but because he was centered. You see, people can feel when someone is aligned. It's magnetic. Someone who radiates calm, clarity, and confidence without ego, they light up a room. And that energy doesn't come from having the corner office or a nameplate. It comes from within. Ara had told him something else he never forgot. You can't get true appreciation by needing it. Neediness is a signal of lack, and people can feel it. But when you feel full within yourself, when you are connected, whole, at peace, you naturally receive appreciation. Not as a reward, but as a reflection of your state. So let me ask you now, are you chasing applause more than you're listening to your own truth? Are you defining your worth by metrics that belong to someone else? Are you building your life on the fragile ground of others' opinions? Because here's the truth most people don't tell you. You were never meant to live on borrowed light. You are not here to be everyone's favorite. You are here to be real, to be whole, to be connected, first to yourself and then to the world. And the irony? Once you stop needing approval, you often get it. Once you stop performing, you begin to truly lead. And once you prioritize your own alignment, you become the kind of person who naturally lifts others, not through effort, but through energy. This is the quiet revolution we need, not louder success, not bigger titles, not more applause, but deeper presence, clearer purpose, and a peaceful sense of self that no one can give you and no one can take away. So ask yourself, who are you without the applause? And are you willing to meet that person and finally let them lead?